It's probably a little bit colder than where I've been, but it's nice to get back out there and obviously contribute to the bowling performance. Obviously, pretty disappointed where I batted the last couple of days, but that's been and gone now, and we've got to concentrate on trying to get those sort of nine more wickets, try and force a result in this game.
And obviously a very different pitch here today than the sort of pitches you've been used to in the West Indies.
Yeah, there's obviously a little bit more grass on it and a little bit more life in it, but it's still doing the basics well. You've still got to be able to hit the ball, hit the right lengths and get it into a good area. And obviously this wicket there's obviously a bit more pace and a little bit more zip in it, so you feel more in the game as a seamer. So the basics are still exactly the same, and I didn't quite get that right in the West Indies, whereas I did get it right today.
What's the par score on this pitch?
It's tricky to say. Like, if you get a few early wickets with a new ball, you feel like you're always battling. Whereas if you get through that new ball like they did, sort of, I think 180, 200 probably is about par. Whereas if you're the sort of 3 down early on, it's always then tricky to get back because the ball's always then a little bit newer, it feels like.
And how difficult is it going to be for Essex to score the 81 runs they need?
Hopefully as difficult as possible. I think if we can get Sheff out early, we obviously got a chance, but I think if he bats for sort of half an hour, 40 minutes, I think it's going to be difficult for us. So that's the big wicket in the morning. You saw get them out first ball today, and I think there was sort of 70, would be 70 all out then from there. So we're still in the game. We know we've got to bowl really well again, but it's still possible.
What's the mood in the camp? 4 losses at the end of last season, going down in a big way down at the Aegeus Bowl, and Essex favourites here. How are people? How are the players viewing things at the moment?
Yes, obviously it's a tricky time for us. So we're playing. Obviously, last week we played against Hampshire. We're probably going to be up there as contenders, and so are probably Essex as well. So we know we're near playing our best, and that's obviously disappointing for us. But we know we've got things to work on, and that's what we've got to focus on. We can't keep worrying about how we've been performing the last couple of weeks or as last season, but we've got to make sure that we're focused on as much as we can to improve, and that's what everyone's doing. We're not trying to play badly. We're not trying to not score any runs. We're working as hard as possible to maximise the chance of winning games.
And on this pitch, can you bowl Essex out for less than 81 tomorrow?
Yeah, I think you can. I think we've obviously it's got to be perfect for us. I think it's going to be very tricky, but we have to go out there and believe that we can. If there's not, I don't play cricket to try and lose games, so you've got to go out there and believe, and that's the same as us all as us bowlers. We go out there to believe we can win games from now, and we've done it here before, and we'll have to do it again tomorrow.
Very good morning to you. Welcome to the Cooper Associates County Ground for day 3 of this LV County Championship match between Somerset and Essex, and it's going to be the final day. We're reasonably certain on the basis of all the evidence, because Essex, with 9 second innings wickets in hand, need 81 more runs to win. Now, it's not without hope for Somerset. Wickets have been falling regularly in this match, but Essex must be the warm favourites. For the second time in the match, we have the 2 cooks batting together. Sir Alistair, who's on 2 not out, and Sam, who came in as night watchman yesterday after Nick Brown was caught at mid-wicket off Craig Overton, his 8th wicket of the match, following those career best figures in the first innings. I'm Stephen Lamb, and alongside me is Sam Dalling. Sam, I think it should be over around about lunchtime today, one way or the other.
Quite one way or the other, Stephen. Good morning, yes. As Craig was just saying, get Sheff early, and you just never know. And recent history suggests that Sheff can be got early, because first ball of yesterday.
Well, a repeat of that.
A little bit of history repeated.
The proverbial cat might be amongst, well, it's the herring gulls here, not the pigeons, but there we go.
I assume Craig was talking about big Sheff rather than little Sheff. Sam Cook is little Sheff in that Essex dressing room. They'd like him as well, but yeah, if they can get Sir Alistair Cook, you just never know. It's unlikely, but yesterday moved at such pace, wasn't it? 19 wickets in the day, 8 wickets in the morning session. If Somerset can repeat that,
indeed,
just indeed. That's why we love the game, though. Wouldn't have it any other way.
All things are possible. Yeah, we've got another treat for you in around half an hour's time. We've got not only Peter Trigo, who's on our commentary team, but we've got Andy Caddick as well. We'll have the 2 of them.
Oh, a few wickets between those 2. Wouldn't they have fancied it out there?
Well, if Triggs can do as well as he did yesterday, then Somerset really have got a chance.
We should have let him open up, really, shouldn't we? Was he on the leaderboard behind us? 5 for 37 he took yesterday. I suspect Mr. Caddick might be interested to probe Mr. Trigo about some comments yesterday about bowling into who was bowling into the wind. I suspect
I think he will.
We might have a discussion between former teammates.
He started outside actually just now.
Excellent.
So he's warming up nicely.
What a treat. I mean, we had an amazing day. Somerset would prefer to have more runs on the board, as would Essex. I mean, they've only been one batting bonus. No batting bonus points in the entire game, but what a brilliant pair we have coming up on the live stream. What a brilliant pair we have here with Craig Overton bowling at Alistair Cook. Oh, he gets an outside edge. Almost a repeat of the first ball of yesterday. In fairness, soft hands, and Tom Abel at second slip got a hand to it. It didn't carry to him, so I don't think it was quite...
Doesn't go down as a chance.
It's not a chance, but promising early signs there from Craig Overton. It just pushed at it, Alistair Cook. Soft hands. On the bounce. Yeah, he had to play at that, but promising start from Craig Overton, who's never taken 10 for in a game. Coming up on a decade of Craig Overton as well, as of next week. Oh, he's gone! Sam Cook has gone. First ball of the morning. Talked about getting Chef out early. Little Chef has gone. He was in overnight as the night watchman. Craig Overton has removed his off stump. Stephen Lamb. Somerset favourites.
Well, yeah. First ball of the day yesterday, Senior Cook. Second ball of the day today, Junior Cook. And it's not the key wicket, let's be realistic, but the night watchman has gone at the earliest possible moment. So 3 for 2, Essex. And, well, could we have some excitement in store in this session?
One hopes so. It started. If it's going to start, it means to go on. If you are thinking about coming down, I would hurry up.
Alistair Cook, you wouldn't know there was any drama at all. He's just leaning nonchalantly on his bat. Actually, he's going to do some gardening now, but very gently.
I can't imagine he's going to be too phased by this. Yeah, a wicket early. 81 runs. 80 runs now required for Essex to win. If you're coming down, get yourself down here quickly. It's free entry as well. Easter Saturday. Easter egg hunt as well going on for the kids. So lots of chocolate around the ground to be found.
And Craig Overton is moving very rapidly towards the 10 for in the match. He's got 9 now. 9
wickets for Craig Overton.
2 for 2 thus far in this innings. Took 1 over and 2 deliveries.
Took 6 yesterday. 1 this morning already. 7 for in total, but the first 2 were on day 1. And it's going to bring into bat Tom Wesley, the Essex skipper, with 3 slips in. Likes to shuffle across his stumps, a big LBW candidate early on. And that's what Craig Overton was going for there with the straighter ball. Wesley's very good, I should say, adept at flicking through the leg side, driving through mid-on, but he does give the bowler a little bit of something to work with. He just makes that trigger movement across to off stump. But he's plenty of experience, Tom Wesley. He's a calm head. He's been there and done it for Essex for many years to come. This is his 201st first-class game. .49 half-centuries, 24 hundreds for Tom Wesley in his career. The 23rd official skipper of Essex, followed on from Ryan Tender-Charter, a great friend of his as well. I think Wesley is godfather to at least one of Tender-Charter's children.
The scoreboard's been taken aback by that early wicket. Hasn't caught up yet. Still 2 Cooks up there on the board.
And there goes Overton again. You can see him just trying to straight bowl at the stumps to Tom Wesley. Did to Sam Cook already.
Your screen has got it right. Wesley and Cook in. 4 for 2 the total. And that key figure of runs required.
Low by Tom Wesley. So ended the first over this morning, and Somerset would have spoken. They spoke last night, they spoke again this morning, and the last thing Tom Abel would have said to his team is quick wickets. And Sam Cook, he lasted just 1 delivery this morning. So Craig Overton has 2 for 3, 9 wickets in the match.
This is a comprehensive wicket as well.
We saw a few in the first innings, bowled at that end, and the stumps didn't move. So they've obviously been hammered in hard, but this one removed that off stump from Sam Cook. Too good for him, really.
We saw the bail ascend vertically, well over Sam Cook's head. Tremendous start, just as yesterday morning. And here's the man who did it for Somerset yesterday morning. First thing, Peter Siddle. And it was the man at the other end he dismissed as well. It's Alistair Cook. It's a repeat performance.
I was just hoping.
Here's on our slow-mo camera, which is just beside the main one down below us. Yes, yes. Stump cartwheeling.
Top of off stump, as the coaches would tell you.
Fast bowlers like watching that.
I enjoyed it.
Oh yes, another one. Cook has gone. Now could that be the big one? Caught behind by Stephen Davies. Peter Siddle has done it again. And Alistair Cook, well, the two Cooks were in overnight and they've both gone. But my word, that is the key one. Craig Overton said yesterday evening, get Chef early and it could be game on. And Somerset have done exactly that. Essex are 4 for 3.
Oh, I'm going to have to catch my breath, Stephen. I just jumped up in celebration, neutral up in the box here, but wasn't that a beautiful delivery for Peter Siddle, from Peter Siddle. Sir Alistair Cook, we talked about him being unflustered, but he's been made to play it again, and Somerset have done that already this morning. They did it a fair bit yesterday as well, making them play angling across the left-handers, and he just got that little tickle to Stephen Davies, and we saw from behind it that we knew there was that deflection before it had reached Stephen Davies, and wow.
It was a very, very similar delivery to the one that got him yesterday. You can't blame the batsman in an instance like that. He had to play it. It was a round-off stump. It was the perfect delivery. And Peter Siddle is all smiles. Look at him.
And rightly so.
Anywhere he turns, he's got a grin.
Wouldn't he like, against his former teammates, who were good friends of his as well, but wouldn't he like to get that one up on him earlier at the start of the season? There's still a lot of work to do. A lot of work to do.
But this ball is still very new. That's the other thing. It was just 2 overs with it yesterday, and we haven't had 2 overs yet this morning.
Wickets have fallen in clusters either side of yesterday morning. So Wesley went just before close on day 1, and they lost Wesley, Cook and Sam Cook in the space of 10 runs. So, and they lost Lawrence and Critchley with the score only adding 1 a little bit later on. So wickets are falling in clusters. Somerset have their first cluster. They need a couple more.
Siddle again then. No run. Well fielded, Lewis Gregory. That might have escaped him and didn't, and that's what you need in situations like this with, that target. It's a small one, but 3 of the 10 have gone.
Two men out
one
there.
Of them may be a night watchman, but nonetheless, that total of 4 for 3, my word. What a morning we could be having here. Playing a miss. It gets to a point, doesn't it, where you think it's a wicket every time.
You can hear the noise as well. There's plenty of buoyancy from the Somerset fielders out there, and why not? The crowd getting right behind them. They're going to enjoy this morning session. They've already had a bit to shout about. It's going to be interesting to see what they do here, because Lawrence is like Wesley. He likes to flick off his legs, and so they're both LBW candidates. But with so few runs to play for, do you keep putting it outside off stump like you've had success so far?
Caught a third slip! 4 for 4 Essex, and Somerset have gone absolutely berserk here. This is fantastic. What a time to be here at Taunton. It's not done yet, but could it? They couldn't have started better. Lawrence has gone for a duck, and Essex 4 for 4, as I say. Peter Siddle has 2, Overton has 2. Game on, Sam.
What a brilliant catch that is from Craig Overton. We've talked about how well he's done with the ball, but when he's not bowling, he's always in the slips, and he's taken that catch away to his right. He had a little look, Lawrence. He wasn't sure if it had carried, but Craig Overton, he was sure it had carried. And the celebrations, wow. 2 wickets, 3 wickets for the loss for just 1 run.
You can dare to dream now.
I am daring to dream, Stephen Lamb. I'm almost lost for words. But this is what, there's still a long way to go. This game is very much in the balance 4 for 4, but this is what county cricket is all about. I mean, there are many detractors of this great game, but wow, what a session we've had, what a couple of days, and what a conclusion we've got in store.
Yeah, and the incoming batsman must have got his kit on in a hurry. Matt Critchley is the man who's coming out to replace Dan Lawrence. I don't think he'd have been padded up first thing, and we're only in the second over.
A little bit of pressure now as well. Youngish player Matt Critchley had a brilliant season for Derbyshire last year, which Essex went and signed him on a 3-year deal. Started with 100 at Chelmsford last week, but a completely different situation. Alistair Cook and Nick Brown had put on 220. Pitch wasn't doing much. This, 4 for 4.
And a fire-breathing Peter Siddle into the bargain.
Had a lot of that, haven't we? No more alarms, please, though, Stephen.
That's played tentatively, but firmly out to square leg. The end of Peter Siddle's over. 2 for 1, his figures. Let's have another look.
This is the first one, isn't it?
This is
big
Chef.
one. Had to play
Just a
it
little
now.
nick through to Stephen Davies, and look at Peter Siddle's face.
You can see how fired up. He's a brilliant bowler. So many wickets in his career, but he also knows these Essex guys. So he's going to know that he knows their strengths, he knows their weaknesses as well.
Absolutely.
Craig Overton then, after that excitement. Goes straight at Wesley, big appeal, there's the LBW shout. Looked like it was going down leg from here, worth a shout. I think it was straying down the leg side, but that is where Tom Wesley is susceptible early in his innings, so expect to see Craig Overton try that once or twice more.
Look at that.
And here's a slow motion replay of that wicket. I mean, it looks brilliant in real time. I suspect it's going to look even better here. Just had to play it. Alistair Cook squared him up completely.
And he'd heard the nick.
He
You can
knew.
see the anxious look, well, the knowing look really behind.
Straight again, Craig Overton. And psychologically, up in that dressing room, Peter Ego was talking about it before the game in the video we did. He talked about Marcus Trescothick, only one batter, but if you got him early, it was the rest of the team go, oh, okay, we're now a big player down.
Yeah.
So Cook was the huge wicket. If even if wickets had fallen around him, as long as he was still out there,
Absolutely.
Essex were
Absolutely.
almost certs to win it.
And Lawrence gone as well.
Straight to Wesley again, who drives to mid-on. Somerset have got 3 slips in here, and there's going to have to be some balance, isn't there? You would want to attack, but you haven't got many runs. You know, you might want to see a gully in or a catcher in at mid-wicket, but also they can't afford for Wesley to just get a couple of those shots away and score runs quickly, as we see the Lawrence ball. Just turned him inside out, and there's the big man, Craig Overton. Can't keep him out of the game. It's a long way down for Craig Overton. Here he is.
That's part of his value, isn't it, in the slips?
Ball in hand. Good carry. Nearly a decade since he made his debut. I think it was about end of April 2012. Craig Overton made his debut up at Lancashire.
Let's see that catch in
think.
slow-mo. This is Dan Lawrence playing the shot.
Came in wide of the crease, didn't it? And it just pitched and moved away from him slightly. Lawrence wasn't 100% sure if the catch had carried, so he stood there, but umpire's finger went up. Side off stump from.
What a session we've got on our hands now.
This really is going to be thrilling. It's going to be tense. There's going to be a lot of pressure out there. Just turned 28, Craig.
Yeah, you can see there are Essex players out on the balcony. There must be some butterflies with them.
Catch. Ooh, outside edge. Squared him up there, Tom Wesley, but played with soft enough hands. Tom Abel at second slip. It went to him on the bounce. He did well to save any run. So another over gone. Would you believe it? Look at that scoreboard, Stephen Lamb. Essex started requiring just 84 runs to win. Wow, they're 4 for 4.
And today, they're 1 for 3 in 3 overs. Absolutely astonishing. what drama this game can serve up.
You talk about dream starts. Somerset couldn't have imagined a start like this, I don't think.
Here's Peter Siddle. Played firmly enough by Matt Critchley. You can still hear the hardness of that new ball when it meets the bat. Totally scoreless off Peter Siddle, Essex this morning so far.
Scores his runs at a decent rate, Matt Critchley. Strike rate of up near 60 in his first class career, so it's been a bit of a slightly alien situation this for him because there's no pressure in terms of time.
Oh, there's an appeal by the slip cord, and Stephen Davis doesn't always appeal himself and didn't on that occasion, but he's one of the quieter wicketkeepers in those terms, and certainly no response from Mike Burns.
No, Peter Siddle wasn't interested either. Craig Overton and Matt Renshaw were the keenest of the second and third slip, but I would expect them to be.
Yeah, the more experienced pair were a bit quieter.
Yeah.
It's very quiet around the county ground at the moment, but it's dramatic quietness. And it could erupt again at any moment. There is another play and a miss. Siddle unplayable at the moment. And, well, the tension is palpable. Everybody around the ground, whether they're seated or standing, all eyes are on the middle. What will happen next? A solid defensive push is the answer to that, in the short term anyway. In scoring terms, this game is at a standstill at the moment. So it remains after that delivery. Peter Siddle right on the money, making the batter play. With this near new ball. Under bright sunshine here in Taunton. Little bit of haze. So another maybe comes to conclusion. Peter Siddle has a word with Ben Green, who gives the ball another polish. Yes, keep that shine on, Ben.
Remarkably, still only 6 overs old, that ball. So it's virtually a new ball. If you're just joining us, and I can see plenty of you are, those live stream numbers are ticking up nicely. You've got Sam Dowling and Stephen Lamb here. Day 3, it's going to be the final day, probably going to be the final session of Somerset versus Essex, brought to you courtesy of our friends at WPA Health Insurance, the club's principal county championship sponsor this year, Essex. It's not a mistake on that scorecard. They are 4 for 4. They require another 80 runs to win with 6 wickets remaining. Time's not an issue. Overs certainly aren't an issue. You just see Craig Overton there, who started the morning off with a wicket. Sam Cook went second ball of the day. He was in his night watchman. He went overnight, just sorting his boots out. Looks like a new pair of boots. He's bowled 3 overs, 1 maiden, 2 for 3. He's got 9 in the game. Peter Siddle, he opened up from the river end with 2 wickets in an over. So Alistair Cook, huge wicket. And Dan Lawrence, which means Tom Wesley is facing up. Big LBW appeal, but it's going down leg side. Is it going to race away? No, it's not. So they're going to pick up a couple. Good bit of fielding down at fine leg there. First runs for a while. That first run since the very first ball of the day, in fact. Alistair Cook took a single. Since then, it's been all Somerset. 1, 2, 3 maidens, 3.5 overs without conceding a run. 3 wickets, and this is county championship cricket at its best. If you're in the area, pop down, free entry. Not going to be more than an hour or two left. It's Tom Wesley. Push outside, off stump. We've got a couple of figures behind us who know all about taking wickets for Somerset. I'm sure we're going to find out who bowled into the wind more often in the next 20 minutes. We've got Andy Caddick and Peter Trigo in behind us. They've enjoyed their morning. Peter Trigo said, we've got to believe, get Alistair Cook early. He has already gone. Solid from Wesley. As we said, it's that LBW shot. You've seen Craig Overton bowl a few straighter balls at him, which is it's the way to go. He likes to flick to leg. He plays those shots, those drives through mid-on, flicks through mid-wicket so well, but not many runs to play with for Somerset, so it's difficult. You've got to get a balance.
Yeah, but Essex are being forced to eke it out. 3 runs yesterday evening and just 3 this morning, 2 of which are leg byes.
Pressure. Virtually a new ball. Craig Overton, he's always fired up. He'll be particularly fired up this morning. So much experience though, Tom Wesley. He's been around, done it, won county championships. Here's Peter Trago coming in first for his first stint of the day.
Good morning, Sam. How are you? What a start.
I was going to say, I'm a bit better than I was half an hour ago. Treeks. And we believed, didn't we? Only a little. There was some belief.
Well, as we discussed in the pre-match, we thought that, you know, you get Essex 20 for 4, it will put the skids under the wheels, but this is a dream start, 6 for 4, and all of a sudden those 78 runs look an awful long way away, don't they?
Psychological, isn't it? The pressure. Tom Abel's got to has to have a balance. 3 slips in. I mean, ordinarily 6 for 4, you might have a gully in, a couple of others around the bat, but with so few runs to play with, he's got to make sure that they don't pick up easy runs as well.
Yeah, I think one of the great moves that Tom's done already this morning is put a 3rd man in. It's already saved probably a dozen runs. Those thick edges that frustrate the bowlers. I know it's talked a lot in the Test match cricket. There's very rarely a 3rd man in place, but Tom has covered that gap nicely.
There's that straight one. It's a nice looking shot. It's the one we talked about from Wesley. He's just a little bit too straight from Craig Overton, so he's picked up a boundary. Essex into double figures, 10 for 4, and I'm going to step out. And a man, as I said, who knows all about taking wickets, Andy Caddick, is going to jump in.
Well, certainly a treat for me to be able to go first change with Andy Caddick again. He's normally got about 5 wickets by the time I come into the attack, but nice to have the Somerset and England legend with us this morning, Andy Caddick. And Andy, how have you seen this morning?
I'm glad I came in now. I wasn't going to, but I'm happy to be watching. Put it that way.
Yeah, it's fantastic. That is a thing you do quite quickly as a retired cricketer. Is you start enjoying watching instead of the pain of bowling yourself. But the boys are putting in a great shift. In particular, Pete Siddle, who's now coming in to bowl.
Yeah, he's got the wind behind him at the moment. As far as he's got his knees up and he's running in hard, so which is good. So he's showing good intent. But yeah, it's great to see. It's a wicket that's doing a bit. And as I came in this morning, people were asking what were your intent, what your thoughts are, and I said, as long as it's Somerset bowl to hit the stumps, we're in with a shout. The wicket's doing enough. Just got to aim at the stumps. I think if we bowl channel, we'll waste too many balls. We've got to make these guys play.
And a great stop there from Tom Lammerby. Might not save the boundary, unfortunately, as that does race away for 4. A flurry of runs here from the Essex batsmen, but 14 for 4, certainly still the dream start for Somerset. And Caddy, I spoke yesterday, obviously I mentioned about you running in downwind and being the prima donna bowler, but obviously that's certainly just me having a bit of a tease. I did speak yesterday, though, about the style in which Craig Overton took his wickets, bowling the straight seam-up delivery, the away swing, and then the wobble seam. Back in the day, you used to bowl the off-cutter to set the left-handers up.
Yeah,
just talk me through about the technique, because you're far more qualified to explain it than I am.
Oh no, Peter, you're very qualified because you're a standing bowler. You're a wonderful, wonderful cricketer. I'll sort of take that with a pun and cheek, but yeah. No, it's one of those things. Funny enough, when I developed the off cutter, and there was a famous little opening batter from Barnstable taught me the off cutter, a certain Mark Lathwell. So there's a name for the past, and
as Siddle comes into bowl to Matt Critchley as he thick edged it down to Jack Leach, a third man. Jack Leach not bowled an over this game, but I'm sure he's enjoying the action down there at third man.
Well, I'm sure he'll take the accolade if they win this. He'll definitely be involved in celebrating. Mark Lathwell, he taught me this little off cutter, and because Mark used to bowl it a little bit here and there, and it's the best thing I ever had in my armoury was the off cutter, because you could actually set batters up. I wasn't just relying on the swing, which I used to get.
Yeah, well, I mentioned yesterday, as Sid speaks the outside edge again of Tom Wesley, he's certainly due even more wickets this morning by the looks of it, Pete Siddle. But I discussed, you know, the ability to have an away swing delivery, which would be your stock ball. But back in the day, people used to bowl in swingers as the change-up.
They did,
and they used to go down leg, didn't they? Whereas yourself and you know, got bowlers like James Anderson and Chris Rushworth and Tim Mercer, they bowl a wobble seam or an off cutter.
Yeah,
it's actually far more dangerous, isn't it?
Well, it is, but you know, Siddle comes in again. Yeah, it is. It's a strange one. They came in about this wobble seam as the a dangerous ball. Well, Kirtley and Courtney used to bowl a wobble seam all the time, so they were just extraordinary bowlers. It does make me laugh how people grab these sort of new developments.
Well, it's not new. It's just got a new name.
It's just called a wobble seam. It's a seam that is a ball that was supposed to go out. It's not a true seam.
So you scramble the seam because you don't want it to swing. It's a subtle variation rather than the big in swinger that obviously is quite.
And then on this sort of wicket, because it's a little bit conducive to the bit of seam, it's just nipped back in. It's hit the seam and nipped back in. So, but again, like I said this morning, he's done the right thing. He's attacking the stumps, and this is one of the great things that Stuart Broad did. You know, he changed his style by not bowling that back of a length through the channel. Against the Aussies 3-4 years ago, he actually attacked the stumps, and that's how he got great success against Warner. This wicket is conducive to just banging it on that length. There we go again, banging on that length and letting the ball do the work.
Bowling that knee roll length rather than a little bit fraction shorter.
Yeah, just a bit too short. You know, back of a length is probably too short on this. You need to be hitting top of off, and it's one of those things I used to practice pre-season. I used to practice pre-tour. When we were away somewhere, I'd put a mitt at the back of the nets. Whether I was bowling at Ath or whoever overseas, and I just groove myself when I got into those conditions, into the getting used to the wickets, because you have to get used to the wicket. It doesn't matter what the wicket was doing. It didn't matter what the wicket was doing. The variation of length to hit the top of off will vary.
Well, I can back this up, ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls. I started training down here at the county ground in the late 90s, and I can remember, Andy, before loads of coaching apparatus was designed, and I can remember you designing something that fit onto the top of off stump and created a hoop. It was a bit of
coat
hanger or something.
No,
like that.
It was a bit of garden hose.
Oh, yeah.
That's all it was.
All mod cons.
All mod cons. It was probably the size of a frying pan, and again, well bowled by Craig. It was just something. It was a target. It was a visual target because, as I said, you get coaches and they'll stick a cone in the middle of the wicket and they say aim at that, and they say, well, that's a good length, but it's not for this wicket. So that length of where the cone should be, depending on the bounce of the wicket, whether it's a fast wicket, a bouncy wicket, or a slow, low bouncing wicket, that cone will move. But there's one thing that's always a constant: top of off.
So am I right in saying that you took this little bit of garden hose around the country, so on the practice day you'd find out on the wicket where your length was that week? Yeah,
or you'd pre-season training, or... That's well bowled again. He's attacking the stumps there again, Craig, and that's what he's got to keep doing. It's just even pre-season or during the summer, if you had a net session, you would just have that. The other thing, it was a great aid for the batters as well, because the batters could visually see with a peripheral vision, they could visually see that hoop behind them, and it made them aware of where their off stump is. And I think that's one of the key things of batting these days. I don't really think a lot of batters know where their off stump is. They start playing at balls that are too wide. So again, it's on this wicket, Craig's just got to keep banging away at that length, making things happen.
Well, Sam Cook certainly found out where his off stump was this morning when it was cartwheeling 5 yards behind him. But you're right, Andy. The game is far more attacking from a batting point of view. And I think one thing that has surprised me, I don't know what your feelings are on this, but I feel like the batters have allowed the bowlers to bowl in their same area. There's not been much movement up and down the wicket to try and change the lengths. I mentioned it a lot yesterday. The batters look like sitting ducks on this wicket.
They do, and we used to play years ago, and it used to come off sometimes. If the ball was doing a bit, the wicket was doing a bit, and there's Craig in again. That's a good length. That's bringing the slips into play all the time. You used to do it. You used to counter attack, and sometimes it came off, sometimes it didn't. But you're better off doing something than allowing it just to unfold.
That was because I knew deep down my technique wasn't good enough, and I had no idea where my off stump was. So I used to take the old bugler option, which was.
But 9 times out of 10, Pete, it did work, and there's nothing worse. Against the Aussies, we had Gilchrist. There was nothing worse of Gilchrist, even if you got through the top order, which is very unlikely when we were playing against the Aussies. But if we did, you still had Gilchrist coming in at 5-6, and you thought, crikey, here's an attacking batter who would take it to you, depending on the state of the game.
Yeah, sure. It's great talking to you, Caddy, about your time, and we did actually have a little bit of a reminisce over your 4 wickets in the over against the West Indies years back. For me, I think for anyone who's watched the cricket through the 90s, 2000s, they're sort of those iconic moments. You've got the 2005 Ashes that we see all the time, but your overs against the West Indies, that one in particular, 4 in 1 over, was something that's been replayed, and rightly so, on Sky Sports 1,000 times. What was your memory of that? You were just on song, weren't you, that day?
Well, like you were saying, Peter, when you're bowling with someone like Darren Gough at the other end for England, you always ended up bowling into the wind. You always ended up bowling up the hill. So
you did my role for
England. I did your role
when
I was playing for England, because Gough would always walk out and he'd turn to me and say, "Caddy, you're a better bowler than me. You don't need as much effort, and it's easy for you. You bowl into the wind, I'll bowl with it." And I was like, "Okay, whatever." So he'd bowl 5 overs, and then when he finished, I'd come out on his end. But that's what you did. You worked as a partnership as far as bowlers are concerned. A bit like Siddle and Craig today. You just got to work as a partnership to keep the pressure on. And one of those old adages, or one of those old sayings that Duncan Fletcher used to say, 9 times out of 10, if you bowl more than 3 maidens in a row, you will get a wicket, and you would. So you work in partnerships to do that. So at that day, I didn't have the opportunity to bowl up the hill because Goughy was taking a wicket, because he bowled superbly first innings and second innings, and then I got the opportunity finally, and Nasser threw me the ball and said, "Right, bowl up the hill," which is what I like doing at Headingley, and it's the same as what I like doing at Lords from the nursery end. And everything clicked. The swing came, the rhythm came, and the rest is history as far as that over is concerned.
Well, it was something else. Stumps and pads flying everywhere. It was great to see, and I know you've had the accolades and the congratulations in the past, Andy, but it was certainly a pleasure to be a teammate of yours, and we were all very proud when we saw you put on that England shirt and do your thing. As Siddle runs in again and bowls that challenging line and length. I likened, or I described Siddle as a line bowler. He doesn't swing the ball massively, but he just does enough, doesn't he?
He's a typical Australian seamer who just comes. He's a bit like a McGrath. He's a bit like a
Ryan Harris.
Ryan Harris, yeah. It just comes in and hits that length, his nagging length. And that's what he's doing now. So you're creating dot balls, and dot balls create pressure, and then all of a sudden you get a bit of scoreboard pressure. I can assure you they were twitching 4 for 4.
Well, I'd be amazed if they're not still twitching. 67 runs away. Every wicket that's fallen this game has gone at around about 14, 15 apiece. And if you do the maths, that is going to come down to a very, very tight equation when either the 10th wicket is taken or the 84th run is scored. It's literally in the balance at the moment. It's quite amazing because that emotion as well, Cad, we played in many tight games together where you go into the day as favourites. You really should win the game. It almost adds a little bit more pressure to you, doesn't it, when you play a game that you really should win.
That's well bowled again. He's just nagging away at that length, and that's a good length as well. He's having to commit to the front foot, and if that's shaping away, that could take the wicket. It could take the edge.
Yeah, as we saw there, Cad, the replay of all the wickets to have fallen down this morning. There's a theme, isn't there? There's just that consistent nagging area. You know, high quality bowling, different trajectories as well, which is a different challenge for the batter.
That's a good shot.
As Matt Critchley plays a great straight drive down the ground, chased hard by Tom Lammerby. I'll tell you what, Caddy, 15 years ago, that would have been in the boundary boards in a flash here at Taunton. The lush grass.
It is lush.
Slowing that up a little bit.
I wouldn't be surprised if the groundsman hasn't cut the outfield this morning as well. So there are benefits for having a home match like this. But no, good shot. But it's still an attacking ball, and Craig's got to keep hitting that length, making things happen.
Now if we do a bit of reminiscing, Cad, your best bowling figures here at Taunton? Craig obviously took career best 7 for yesterday. What was your
Mine
best
were ruined by a little fella called Mushtaq Ahmed.
What, did he nick the last one?
He nicked the last one. So I'd back in '93 we had Lancashire were chasing about 110, but it might have been 94, and it was a low score again. And we managed to bowl them out, and I managed to take 9 for 32, so I couldn't complain.
Yeah, well, that is the sort of performance we need from one of the Somerset bowlers today. That would certainly be quite a treat as Craigo comes into bowl again to Matt Critchley. Again, it's a nice straight drive down the ground, chased hard by Jack Leach. One run that Jack saved could be crucial. Yeah, it's certainly a very, very extraordinary or potentially extraordinary day here at Taunton, Cab. We've seen many, like you said, even back in the day when the wickets were a lot better to bat on. Those low totals can be a nightmare to chase, can't they?
They can be, and the crucial bit. Just watch this one. The crucial bit's going to be the second change bowlers, or the first change bowlers, how they adapt to this and what they do. So hopefully they don't go searching. They just hit that length again and create pressure, because it's pressure that's going to cause the fall of wickets here.
Well, I have to say that in my pre-match summary of the day, or preview of the day, should I say, I did actually sort of pick Lewis Gregory as a man for wickets, because I thought he was terribly unlucky yesterday. Inside edges, outside edges, a couple of drop catches as Craigo bowls again on that immaculate line and length that he's found this game, his first county championship game after coming back from his test duty and missing the first through a bit of a rest, as right on cue Lewis Gregory takes his Somerset Wyvern adorned jumper off, and hopefully my prediction will come true. Here we go, Caddy. Right on screen now, that magnificent over of yours. Talk us through it.
Well, the ball just swung and it pitched it up. What could you say? Yeah, it's
some interesting batting
techniques there. Yeah, well, most will say that it was lower order, so maybe there were bunnies that day, I don't know. But it's just things clicked that day, and yeah, it was...
I've got to be honest, Caddy, if you bowl those deliveries to anyone in world cricket, the stumps were going to be flying. That is something else. And
the worst thing...
a bit of grey hair in there already, Cad.
there was always grey hair. And the worst thing about that, I think we won in 2 days, and Goffey and I had to turn up the following morning at 10 o'clock after a very heavy night out to do the press, so we weren't too happy about that. But yeah, it was a great day's cricket.
Good times as Lewis Gregory gets prepared to bowl his first ball of the morning. And he's straight on the money, attacking that off stump on a good length. Yeah, in the preview I did mention, Cad, that I thought Lewis was unlucky yesterday, and you know that in the famous saying in cricket, swings and roundabouts. You know, you get a bad decision, a bit of bad luck one day. You know, Mother Cricket always rights the ship. So hopefully today is Lewis's day. If he can strike, if Somerset can strike in the next sort of 5-10 runs, you know, I think there's quite a fragility to the middle order of the Essex lineup.
There is, and it's this first over, the intent that he's going to show. So let's see what he does.
You know, years gone by, the Essex lineup, Napier, Tenderscarter, fantastic servant for Essex County Cricket Club. He would be coming in around 6-7. You know, no more of him, and you know, Adam Wheater looked a little bit.
Grayson wasn't
unsure.
a bad player either.
Yeah, a lot of players that would shore up this sort of situation, but some inexperience in the Essex team. So it's very, very much game on. And I kind of drove to the ground today thinking probably quite unlikely, but now I feel completely different about it.
As I said, it's Lewis has just got to target that off stump and let the ball do the work. He's probably, which way's the wind going today? Is he? He's probably going to get a bit of swing from that end. Predominant wind is from the southerly area, so hopefully, or southerly direction. So hopefully he can get a bit of shape. And if he can get a bit of shape, he brings his 3 slips into play, attacks that off stump. He brings LBW into play. He brings the cat caught behind in play and bowls. So he's got opportunities there just to allow this wicket. As long as he's bowling it and heavily bowling into the wicket, top of off, there's an opportunity here for him.
I mean, Lewis's strike rate for Somerset as a bowler is absolutely fantastic. Normally with the new ball.
Yes.
So being a change bowler, slightly different when you're bowling at batters that have had a bit of time at the crease. But he has always had a pretty devastating nip back delivery, wobble seam as we obviously now call it. So hopefully that will work.
Well, it's 11 overs. It's coming to the 12th over. Oh, this ball. So the lacquer should be off it now, and he should be working on it nicely. So hopefully he can get a bit of more consistent swing. I don't know what these balls are like these days for swinging, as far as the Dukes.
I don't think
back in the day, they used to swing nicely
anymore. I don't think the leather quality that the Dukes brand use is as good. You remember when you used to have that purple, dark purple sort of patch on your whites, whereas now it's more of a pinky sort of colour. Obviously, you know, you're not allowed to be using any saliva or anything to moisten the ball. You have to, I don't know, get a bit of moisture off your arm or wherever you can find it on your body, back of the neck. With the new legislation that's come into play, so much more challenging to swing the ball. Not like back in the day, in your day, Cad, when Athers used to get a bit of mud out of his pocket or a bit of sandpaper or anything like that. You know, anything goes back in the day before the old zoom-in cameras.
I shan't comment.
Andrew Caddick, ladies and gentlemen, has just claimed the Fifth Amendment there. No comment.
No comment, Your Honour.
As long as the ball swung for England, Cad, you were
couldn't care.
No one worried about it.
One of the best, I guess, shiners of the ball we had was Peter Bowler. He was very good at first slip. He was very good at getting that ball to nice sparkle and nice shine on it. Assist the bowler, so he contributed a lot to getting some shapes.
Very good. Tries the other length, a bouncer there, hits Matt Critchley on the gloves,
which is good. It's good.
Back a little bit.
Just stop him from coming forward. Push him back a little bit. Let him be a little bit more thought about pushing his front foot forward and coming down the wicket. So push him back.
Yeah, you got to, I think on a day like today when you don't have many runs, you've got to use the short ball sparingly, but it's you've got to keep the batsman's feet back in the crease, don't you, Cap?
Yes. Yeah, you can always tell when a batter's starting to get into a stride and starting to feel a bit more comfortable. His front foot comes down at you a little bit more confident and a bit further. So all you're trying to do is just stop that movement from coming forward. You want him on the front foot because that's the area things are going to happen at. But again, you just need to keep pushing him, you get him coming forward, but tentatively coming forward.
As the two umpires discuss the shape of the cricket ball, Craigos bizarrely hasn't got a wicket for the last few balls, so he's probably questioning that the ball has maybe gone soft a little bit, but it's been dismissed by Russell Warren and thrown back to him, and he's probably just said, "Get on with it, lad."
And I expect in another over or two they'll be throwing it back at the umpire again.
Unless 3 wickets fall, and then, the
Unless 3
wicket,
wickets.
and then the ball's absolutely fine. There you go, just banging away. And I think the interesting thing here is the run rates are all, it's been around 2 and over for the whole match. There's neither team has got away, and like I said, not one of the back. 34 wickets have fallen in 2 and a little bit days. I haven't really seen anyone take a hyper-aggressive mode, which has really surprised me in modern cricket with all the 2020 cricket these players play.
It is. I think this time he has a little bit more survival with a bit of a greener wicket.
Wasn't there an old saying, the attack is the best form of defence? I saw
it
Simon
is.
Harmer pulled off of a length yesterday and got 30-odd. Looked like he unsettled the bowlers by just pulling a few slightly full deliveries. Haven't seen any of that from any other player.
Lewis Gregory tried that yesterday and he unfortunately got caught doing it. I can understand that. I've got to admit that I was impressed with one Somerset player on the first day of Lammonby. He played properly as an opener. He got a decent ball in the end, but no, he didn't get a decent ball. If I remember rightly, he played a silly shot. When the spinner came on, he decided to try and reverse sweep, and unfortunately got a top edge and got caught. So he was playing well, and I was good to see that on a wicket that was doing a bit, he was leaving very well and waiting for the ball to come to his areas of strength. So I was impressed with that. Got a good ball yesterday, which is a shame, but you're going to get good balls on a wicket like this, so you just got to shrug it off your shoulders and get on with it. But some players, you're right. When you get going gets a bit tough, sometimes you just need to come out and play a few shots.
Yeah, you think someone getting a quick 30 would completely change the complexion of the game. As Craigo runs in again and gets one slightly down the leg side, but the ball's still flying through to Steve Davis. And you've got to say, Caddy, you've got to credit Scott, the groundsman here. He's certainly got some pace into this wicket over his 18 months or so he's been at the ground.
Yeah, this was the thing. I've always said Somerset, when they had the best wickets in the country, and they were good wickets, they were quick wickets, but they were good, consistent batting wickets. As if you're a bowler, if you bench your back and...
Is Graham Hickwill back up?
Yeah, he would have. Prior to 93, the wickets here were flat. They were very, very, very flat. Early 90s, late 80s, early 90s. I remember Adrian Jones used to play here, fast Somerset bowler, toiling away. Lewis Gregory in again. That's well bowled. Things are happening. That's a good length. There's an Adrian Jones here. He used to toil. He used to run it off a very long run. He used to toil. He was a quick bowler, but that was the year Jimmy Cook had 2,500 runs in 2 consecutive years. They were flat wickets here, but Phil Frost, he soon arrived and he changed the structure of the wickets. But one of the things that was really important of the wickets at Taunton was the grass. The grass was a lot thicker, heavier grade grass. So it absorbed moisture and held moisture. And these wickets are getting back to the way they used to be, which green and hard.
Yeah, I was out there this morning. I couldn't resist but to stand at the batting crease just to visualise what it would be like to be batting out there today. And the whole area looks very lush. There's a good quality covering of grass, and you're right. That's all you really want to see. I think as a batter as well, you want to see a little bit of grass because you know that the ball will come on. You get value at a place like Taunton for good cricket, don't you? You play a bad shot, you pay the price, but you play a good shot, you get rewarded.
But good wickets were classed as wickets that if you're a batter and you had a good quality bowler bowling it, the batter was committed to the shot when the ball was released by the bowler. Bad quality wickets, as far as I'm concerned, are wickets that a batter can change his shot, whether it goes, comes forward and then goes back, mid delivery. Lewis again coming in. Those are the areas, as I said, Lewis needs to continue concentrating on. He's got 3 slips. Keep attacking the stumps. Things will happen in that area. It only has to do a little bit on this wicket.
Yeah, in these sort of small chases, you're going to get little partnerships.
You've
got to stay in. You've got to keep banging the areas that have obviously been yielding great results. You are going to get. These are quality batsmen. The Somerset bowlers are bowling at, so you are going to get a bit of resilience. But you just got to keep plugging away. Stick to the plans that are on the whiteboard, no doubt, in the dressing room.
There we go.
Bit of a loose shot there,
loose shot
again. But that's frustration, isn't
It
it?
is. It's because you're building a bit of pressure, and all of a sudden, as I said, you get 1 wicket, you get 2, you get 3, you get them in clutches. So all of a sudden, they may get a. Batsmen are allowed to get a partnership. That's cricket. You're allowed to have a small partnership. They're allowed to stay at the crease for a number of overs, but you just got to build the pressure and then hope that if you get one of these out, you get 2 or 3 at the same time.
You mentioned earlier, impressed with Tom Lammonby's innings and the dismissal being a reverse sweep. Thinking back to the late 90s, Cad, Bob Cotton, Pete Robinson, what do you think if the opening batsman would have got out playing a reverse sweep, the reaction would have been when you got back to that Colin Atkinson pavilion?
They'd have been told to go through another door, directed to the back door, not the front door. It's just the way the game is now. I'd love to have bowled in this era to challenge myself, because it would have been a challenge bowling against these players playing all these shots. But I still believe there's, you still as a fast bowler, you're still going to have 3, 4 balls in your army, not 15. Stick to the basics, and things do happen. So.
Yeah, in fairness, Andy, obviously you were known, I think 1,200 first-class wickets in total in your career, around there?
I think it was.
Come on, you know.
No, I don't. It was 1180 something. I think it was.
It was a lot. It was a lot of wickets. I remember it's a lot of wickets, but you did play in the modern era. You played T20. You won the T20 with Somerset in 2005.
Yeah, we did quite well. Yeah,
and obviously, going back to what you're saying there, you had your game plan, the slower balls, one slow ball and the Yorker.
Yeah, Yorker, and slow ball bumpers. I started developing that towards the end of the career. And it became very, not only in 4-day cricket, it became a brilliant ball to bowl in 1-day cricket. Slow ball bumper. It's about variation of pace.
Not that I actually do remember, Cad, but what were your figures in the final? I know you had a good bowling performance. What did you end up with?
I got Mal Loy got out twice because Richard Johnson decided to drop him deep on the boundary.
I'm not sure that counts.
Well,
you got him out.
I got him out anyway. So and then we got the other main batter for down order batter for Lancashire was Freddie Flintoff. So. But there was some great. There we go.
Crago gets rewarded again for his monotonous line around off stump. A massive, expansive drive by Matt Critchley. I think he just dragged that on and off stump is flying. That's what the Somerset crowd, myself and Andy, want to see. He's been rewarded for a phenomenal spell, and that is Craig Overton's maiden 10-wicket haul. I'm right in saying, and that's a great feeling for a bowler.
Oh, it is.
Not just getting the 7th, but backing it up the next day.
Well, it's also the fact that you're a senior bowler now, and he is a senior bowler, and he's doing his job. He's a senior England bowler, soon to be. So he's doing his job. So great to see. And again, this is where Somerset now have just got to think, right, now we take 1 or 2 more. We can take another 1 now in the next 2-3 overs, and maybe 2. This is a long way away, this 80. Was it?
It certainly is a very long way away. 57
57
more runs with only 5 weeks to go. A dangerous man coming to the crease now, Adam Rossington. A very sharp room 101 exit from Northants straight up to Essex. Or would that be down the M1 to Essex? Great signing, I think, from Essex. Very dangerous. Quite an unorthodox player. Pulls a lot off of length. So I wonder what his intent will be. It'd be really interesting to see. I mean, new county, do you want to risk your wicket playing an expansive shot, or are you going to be brave enough to try and be the hero? It'd be really interesting to see how Adam Rossington goes about his business this morning.
Well, as far as Craig's business is, just continue just banging away at their length. Keep making it uncomfortable for the new batter. It's building pressure again. Build the pressure, false shots come, and then hopefully you get wickets and clunches.
Bangs that length again. I'm not being funny. Snater, Steckedy, Overton, Siddle. I think Scott's going to have to repair that little 7-yard length. It's been absolutely hammered by all of the bowlers. The bowling consistency has absolutely been phenomenal. It'll be interesting to see if Rossington tries to pull Craig Overton off his length, because Craig is quite an emotional bowler. I wonder what his reaction would be if Adam Rossington tried to play an expansive shot against him. as we see there, he's just capitalised on a fraction of over-pitched delivery there.
That's well fielded.
Swooped up by Tom Lammerby, a fantastic athlete.
Into a single.
Good off, sorry. Craigo into his 8th over now. He's going to be getting a little bit tired, but it's so hard, Wildcat. It was impossible to get the ball out of your hand when you had 10 wickets under your belt.
Well,
but you've got to be sensible, haven't you?
You do.
Maybe coming on later on might be something that the team require out of him. Yeah. As he nicks off Essex captain Tom Wesley. 11 wickets in the match now for Craig Overton, and all of a sudden Somerset are not just favourites, they are massive favourites here in this extraordinary contest here at the Cooper Associates County Ground. What a morning we've witnessed, and I can't think of a better man to have next to me than club legend Andy Caddick. Andy, this is well, something, isn't it?
Yeah, well, this is the pressures building. So you've got a couple of batters who are just starting to make hay. They're just starting to feel a bit more comfortable. Shouldn't really be playing at that ball. That's not really a great ball to be playing at if you want to hang around. But yeah.
But exactly what you've said has come to fruition. Craigo has stuck to his task. Lewis has stuck to his task.
Stick to your task.
And then all of a sudden, 5-6 overs of nothing, and then the old adage of bang bang, and you look at the scoreboard, 28 for 6. And all of a sudden, Caddy, if Somerset do pull off the miraculous, the batting woes are forgotten, the confidence throughout the club will go up, and we move on. What an extraordinary day's play we have in store here. I mean, if you are in the Taunton area, I think the tickets, the gates are open. You still have to pay for your pie and your cup of coffee, but it will be the best £5 or £6 you've spent. The action here is fantastic if you are a cricket fan in the local area. Cads, it's been awesome, awesome chat to you. Thanks for your time. I hope to have you back in the commentary room over the course of the summer.
Well, pop in. I'm always up here watching the odd sessions.
Welcome, mate. I know the crowd love seeing you around the ground, being one of the legends of the club. Thanks, Gad, as I introduce Sam back into the hot seat as this game is on an absolute knife edge. Essex 28 for 6 off of 14.5 overs. Craig Overton has 11 wickets in the match. An immaculate line of length again by Craig Overton, and I really feel like Trafford, even though he's not going to hear me, he's doing a Cristiano Ronaldo-esque wave to the crowd that have made the effort to come in this morning. And look at Craig Overton's reaction. You've got to remember, everyone, that he's bowled an awful lot of overs, but look at the energy he still has. He's been away playing international cricket for England, but look how much it means for him to pull on that Somerset shirt, wear that number 7, and take his 11th wicket. Phenomenal performance there by Craig Overton. Joy to watch the last 2 days. All right, Sam.
Yeah.
Blood pressure
I'm all right.
is high, isn't it?
It's a shame you'd have to talk about it now. At the back, I can just celebrate the wickets. Wow, how brilliant was that to hear from Andy Caddick. 1,144 wickets for the club.
Yeah, I had to be extra nice to Caddy this morning. First thing he said to me, no good morning, Triggs, no good morning, old teammate, no hugs. It was, prima donna, am I? That was the first thing he said to me. So I had to apologise. I, of course, ladies and gents, boys and girls, didn't mean that. Andy Caddick is an absolute superstar. Loved playing cricket with Andy. Taught me so much about how to bowl. Unfortunately, I wasn't good enough to execute many of his tips, but he was unbelievable to stand at 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th slip to.
Oh, just the height of him. 3 slips in as well for Lewis Gregory. As Rossington turns it round the corner. Yeah, you were saying, Pete, he's very much a white ball player. He was played in the 100 last year as well, didn't he? So his natural inclination is to try and score runs quickly. And you just wonder, the course of this game, anyone who's tried to hang around, very few have actually stayed there for any period of time, just 2 half-centuries.
I'm still amazed in the 2020 100-ball era we're playing in that no batter that I've witnessed in the last 2 days has tried to play an almost little 2020 cameo. 30, 40 runs changes this game dramatically. Adam Wheater, Adam Rossington both hang back and sweat on the short ball. When I say sweat on the short ball, that is the ball they will try to play. It looks there. That is a very very clear sign that Adam Wheater has had enough of hanging about. That's an incredibly slashy shot through the offside. He's edged it, he's gone past the round 4 slip, but he's got 4 runs for it. Maybe he is the man that is going to try and change the momentum of the whole game, let's be honest.
It's all it takes. It was amazing. Somerset, you're just saying favourites perhaps to win from here. Having what we had 6 sessions before this, of which they have won 1 outright the first morning yesterday. They did all right in the middle of the afternoon, but Essex have just been on top the whole game, yet here we are.
Yeah, to be honest, I think that's maybe a little bit unfair. If you have a look at the score, 109, 180, 154. I don't think any of the batters have really got a handle on it. I mean, Sir Alistair Cook, Simon Harmer got a few. We've had Lammonby, Steve Davies. I don't think any of the batters have looked particularly comfortable. The bowlers have just dominated the whole game so far.
They could be key. Those 25 Harmer runs at the end of the first innings.
Exactly right. As Lewis comes into Adam Wheater again, and certainly looks, even with that leave, there's a bit of intent to Adam Wheater's movements. As I depart and tag in WWE style with Stephen Lamb to take you through, hopefully, to a famous and fantastic Somerset victory.
I would like to see you and Stephen Lamb in the WWE as a tag team.
Well, as long as Stephen wears the extra tight shorts.
Well, I was hoping for another game of rock, paper, scissors between the two of you we had yesterday. Wow. What a morning we've got here at the Cooper Associates County Ground. The sun is shining brightly. There's over 3,500 of you tuned in on the live stream, courtesy of WPA Health Insurance. And Stephen, beyond the wildest dreams.
That Wesley wicket felt huge. The captain, the 6th to fall. Somerset must be favourites at the moment. Well stopped. That's another example of how much it helps to have excellent fielding backing up the bowling in a tight situation.
We've got a replay then of that Tom Wesley wicket. What a wicket it was for Somerset. He just started. Essex would have fought well with him around. Been there 40 balls, only got the 6, but time wasn't an issue for him. 33 for 6 then. Essex, they trail by 50, so they need 51 to win. And here goes Craig Overton into his 8th over of the morning. Oh, good luck trying to prize the ball away from Craig Overton right now. Beats the outside edge of Adam Rossington.
Oh, Jaffa.
Here we go. This is the last wicket, Tom Wesley. The number of wickets Andy Caddick and Pete Trigo have between them. They look at those professionals at the front. Who are those amateurs in the back? Look how good Pete Trigo is. Look at them. He's just straight into the camera. He knows the camera's coming. Talking into the camera. Wasn't it brilliant to have those two on the live stream with us? Pete is part of the team all summer, and I'm sure we'll get Andy Caddick back on several times. I mean, what those two don't know about bowling, there isn't that much to know.
Yeah, without question. I enjoyed it when Andy Caddick refused to comment on the dirt in the pocket incident. Pleaded the 5th Amendment.
Yeah, fast bowlers, they're smart cookies. Overton then. 4 for 15 he's got. All full, driven by Rossington. Went for the Yorker there, Craig Overton. It's going to be difficult. I heard Pete talking about it. And Tom Abel has spoken a lot last year about how they had to work. The temptation was just to let Craig keep bowling, and actually you almost have to manage him because you just want him to be there. You'd happily have him, a bit like Simon Harman does for Essex quite a lot of the time, just holding up one end, but quite a taxing workload. Craig Overton's run-up is a little bit longer, but this morning I'd be surprised if they can prize the ball away from him.
Well, it's his 9th over overall, but one of those was last night. So it's his 8th of the spell.
Yeah, got through.
I fancy we'll see a couple more yet.
Got through 25 in the first innings. Didn't play last week, as we know, so has had a bit of a rest. Jack Leach as well, spare a thought for him, through no fault of his own, has not had the chance to bowl yet in this game, and I don't think we'll see him.
No, nor do I.
Another play and a miss.
Yes, the interesting question for Tom Abel is he's concentrated the attack, as you'd expect, on the three main bowlers so far today. Siddle, Overton and Gregory. Who comes on next? Does he bring himself on? Does he bring Ben Green on? He's preferred Ben Green to himself a couple of times in this game already.
Yeah, he's bowled well, Ben Green, hasn't he?
Yeah, but that's another consideration going through the captain's mind.
Half a shout, but going down.
Leg side.
I think
Well, commentators were in agreement with the umpire there.
33 for 6 then, 17 overs gone. I think, Stephen, that I'd be surprised to see Green this morning. I suspect Gregory's come on, and there's a few people wondering why Siddle didn't bowl a slightly longer spell. I suspect as and when Craig does want a rest, if he does, or if they have to force him into a rest, Peter Siddle will come back this end and we'll just see a bit of a rotation between the three of them.
Could well be. Good call. Yeah, Tom's just had a word with Craig. In fact, I wonder whether that is going to be the moment.
He's going to have to be quite authoritative with him. if the question is, do you want to come off?
Yeah.
If he even gets an answer, he'd be lucky.
4 for 15. The big man's figures from 9 overs in all. One of those yesterday evening, the other 3 today. Lewis Gregory to continue. Angled bat by Wheater, but similar to the stroke that brought in 4 runs in the previous over. 33 for 6, Essex. That figure on your screen of 60. That's how much more Essex need to win this game. Somerset need 4 wickets.
Spare a thought for Mr. and Mrs. Overton today. Where are they going to be? Jamie's just picked up 5 for at the Oval. He's got 5 for 54. Maybe they've had to split and rotate, make sure both sons are covered. Great to see him in the wickets for Surrey.
Tremendous. That's off the outside edge again. They'll bring him a single. Jack Leach in action at third man. But involuntary shot. What a tense county ground this is.
Third man.
Everybody's been absolutely spellbound this morning.
That third man in action again, as Pete said, one of the best bits of captaincy from Tom this morning is to have that third man in. So those outside edges, of which there have been a number, just pick up a single.
Yep. Paid dividends already. Just pulled his back inside the line of that, I think. Two minds though. Adam Rossington. The 2 wicket-keepers in together for Essex. Didn't do much between them in the first innings. Both of them dismissed by guess who? Rossington for 6, Wheater for 4. It's Rossington who's on strike now.
Probably got the outside edge there, the way it moved.
Doesn't look easy, does it? Batting out there. It's 17 overs old now, this ball, but it's still doing a bit. And Gregory he's looked dangerous. He's only taken 1 wicket in this game so far, but he's looked dangerous all the way through.
He's a superb bowler, isn't he, Lewis Gregory? And this is his kind of pitch, his condition. Just push it up and do a little bit with it. He's such a clever cricketer.
Outside edge again. Single again. Jack Leach again, coming in from third man. Got a tense hour or so coming. It's been tense enough since 11 o'clock, but my word, we could go beyond lunch as well. We were anticipating this game would be over by lunch, but it may not be. Wanted a single, but sent back by Adam Rossington, rightly so. End of Lewis Gregory's fourth. Now, is Craig going to continue? No, your call was excellent, Sam. Tom Abel must have heard you.
I think Tom Abel is, doesn't need to come to me for any cricketing advice. Peter Siddle, I mean, Craig Overton out of the attack, so you have to bring Peter Siddle back into it from the Marcus Trescothic pavilion end.
Yeah, he picked up 5 overs in all. One of those was last night, wasn't it? So only 4 this morning. So he'll still be reasonably fresh.
What a start he had this morning as well. Craig Overton got Sam Cook in the first over of the day, but it was Siddle who really opened up this game for Somerset and the wicket of Alistair Cook. The big wicket. And Dan Lawrence falling in the same over. Going to bowl Adam Rossington now with 3 slips in. Decent crowd in.
People will be glad they came, won't they?
Oh yeah, if you were hesitating, well, you've missed a wonderful first hour and 10 minutes of cricket here at the Cooper Associates County Ground. Essex have lost 5 wickets. Still in the balance this game. 49 runs required. Time isn't an issue. 176 overs minimum, so I wouldn't worry too much about time. It's about wickets and runs. Can Somerset take those final 4 Essex wickets before they can claim the 49 runs they require for a victory? And there'll be a win one way or other. It will be either side's first victory of the season. Essex opening with that draw at Chelmsford, high scoring draw. Somerset not having a brilliant start to the season at Hampshire, but this has been a brilliant morning. Nice looking shot from Rossington. They'll pick up a couple as well. Just pushed out off the back foot. Tom Lammonby does the fielding. So those are a couple more vital runs for Essex. Good morning to all of you. Good afternoon, in fact. To well over 4,000 of you on the live stream now. Brought to you in association with WPA Health Insurance. You've got myself, Sam Dalling, and Stephen Lamb at Lamb165 at Sam J Dowling. Tweet us in if you're watching. Get involved. What are your predictions? Which way is this one going to go? That one was an in swing from Siddle, flicked off the hips nicely by Rossington, who's going to pick up a couple more. .45 now required for Essex to win.
It was Casey Aldridge who did the fielding there on his 12th man. I think for Craig Overton, maybe gone off for some running repairs.
Change of boots, an energy drink or two. Oh, beats the outside edge there, Siddle. That was a beautiful delivery. Rossington had to play at it. He did. Didn't get anything on it. Couple of wickets in the first innings, Peter Siddle.
And that's the way he's taken several of them.
He was so economical, wasn't he, in the first innings? I think overnight on day 1 he bowled 19, 20 overs for not many more runs than that. Key wicket of Alistair Cook, first ball of yesterday. Key wicket of Alistair Cook. It was second ball of today, and it was in the second over. And that is what has set us up for such a tense finish here at the Cooper Associates County Ground. Essex, 39 for 6, 19 overs gone.
Yeah, Cook for 3. Cook Alistair, that is, for 3. Sam Cook for a duck. Tom Wesley for 6. Dan Lawrence for a duck. Matt Critchley for 15. Those are the wickets that have fallen. Talking about the few Somerset players who made it into double figures, there's just one Essex player who's done so in this innings so far. Gregory with the river tone behind him. Beauty, first up. Again, very similar to that delivery that Peter Siddle bowled in the previous over, drawing the batsman into the stroke and passing the outside edge.
He'll take it in his stride, Lewis Gregory, because he's very relaxed about these kind of things, but he can feel unlucky not to have more wickets to his name. He's bowled beautifully as well. Just the final wicket at the end of the Essex first innings, you could see he took it and then just kind of sank to his knees, didn't he, and started laughing.
Yeah. How would he fancy a couple more in this situation? That's 4. That's not the result he would have wanted. Straight driven by Adam Wheater. Boundaries have got great value to Essex with this small target. They're over halfway now. 41 more needed. 43 for 6.
Yeah, just a bit too full that from Gregory. Nice looking shot. Wheater and Rossington, both of whom score runs quickly. White ball cricketers, Wheater in particular, as he started out at Essex and then went to Hampshire, was a white ball machine.
It's better for length. Play back to the bowler. He's getting a lot of shouts of encouragement out there. Still the 3 slips in readiness for an outside edge. James Hildreth, Matt Renshaw, Tom Abel. Could have played on there, got a bottom edge onto it. Just dropping down in front of him in the end. Moment of anxiety for Adam Wheater. From Gregory. Wheater just getting a little bit cramped for room there as he was looking for the drive, but not quite in position to play it. Just checks with umpire Russell Warren how many are left in the over. The answer's 2.
Enough time for a couple of wickets.
Down to third man again, will just be a single. Peter Siddle down there. Oh, in fact it was just 1. The scoreboard had not quite caught up. So that's the end of the over. 5 bowled by Lewis Gregory, 0 for 16. Wheater's got to double figures, 44 for 6. We've got 45 minutes to go until lunch. So I fancy this game may well go into the final session, but it's just impossible to tell, isn't it? Could be over in 4 balls.
60 could indeed. 16 runs this partnership as well, crucial for Essex. You look at their first couple of partnerships, 2-2, 0-0, and there was that 23-run partnership between Wesley and Critchley. Siddle continues, beats the outside edge again. So Siddle, you can usually tell by his reaction, it's usually the slips that go up, and you can tell by what he does as to whether there was a wicket, and whether it's taken the edge, but he started to wheel away there, Peter Siddle. It's another beauty that Wheater just had to play at. He starts to celebrate there, Peter Siddle. You just saw on the replay, then realises the slips didn't go up. Steve Davies with the gloves on. James Hildreth, Matt Renshaw, Tom Abel at third, with Craig Overton off the pitch at the moment. He has probably just gone off to freshen up after what was a fine spell this morning. I suspect we'll see him back on before too long. Both back on the field and back on with ball in hand as well.
He's proving his worth every bit, isn't he, Peter Siddle, as an overseas signing?
Yeah, it looked a canny bit of business, didn't it, when they picked him up.
Holding its line, that one.
All the experience that he's got, all the first-class wickets, a couple of hundred of them in Test cricket.
Yeah, and still extremely fit.
Oh, he triathlon trains. I think he's always out on his bike. Was training for triathlons over the winter. Leading wicket taker in the Big Bash as well, so I suspect he might have something to say when the T20 starts, but before that, plenty of red ball action. Took 34 wickets at 20s in that 2019 Essex title win. Only played 8 of the games. So he was a pretty crucial part of that Essex side. Spent a couple of years there. Didn't come back in 2020 due to the pandemic, but was back for a spell last season. Now made his way to Taunton. And Somerset fans will be very glad to have him. Again, Wheater just pushes at that one, squares him up. I said we could have that, but we just need a button that says squares him up.
Yeah, absolutely.
We don't need to do any of the commentating really this morning. We could just have Overton, Siddle, and squares up.
Over. Just a couple of deliveries, maybe just marginally too wide outside off stump, but hardly anything in it. And forcing a play and a miss on 2 occasions so far. A single here for Wheater. Steered back with a point to end the over, and Craiggo's coming back.
Yes, I don't think it'll be too long before we see Craigo at the river end. Maybe Lewis Gregory, who is taking his jumper off, he might have one more. This will be the 6th over of his spell. It's been a bit unlucky. Craigo might have to wait maybe 1, maybe 2 overs. I would be very surprised if he's not getting 4 or 5 from the river end before lunch. He gets a pat from Matt Renshaw.
Yep. Feel a bit fresher now, probably a change of shirt, maybe boots, whatever. Perched at 3rd slip again. While, but always going to fall safe. Hazy sunshine here at Taunton, which we've had pretty well all morning. And crowd that's concentrating intently on every ball. Be a couple here. Down to deep backward square. As you'd expect, it's brought a few flat owners out on their balconies as well, sitting and keeping their eyes on developments.
Yeah, these are the days you buy those flats for. Beautiful sunshine.
37 more needed by Essex, 4 wickets by Somerset. Outside edge. How many times have we seen that off Lewis Gregory? Looking for 2 here and getting them.
Yeah, good bit of running that. Good bit of running. Adam Wheater's quick. And he got little legs, but they carry him rapidly across the turf. And it was just to Peter Siddle's left down at third man. And every run is precious here.
I walked in behind those apartments this morning. They've actually got balconies looking over the other way too. But why on earth would you buy one looking that way?
Yes, I think they were the ones that was struggling initially to be sold. I think it took a while for those to get picked up.
Oh, a little flirt with that outside the off stump. Just no luck for Lewis. It's been astonishing, hasn't it? A number of times he's either passed the outside edge or found it, and it hasn't gone to hand.
He's bowled beautifully, hasn't he? Absolutely beautifully, but he's putting pressure on. As Tom Abel, the skipper, just goes to have a word with Mike Burns, the umpire. Overton back on and straight in at third slip, where we saw him take that wonderful catch earlier on this morning to remove Dan Lawrence, diving away to his right. It was low. He's a big man, Craig Overton, but he's got fantastic hands.
Straight to the man at cover, which was just as well, because that was nicely timed by Adam Wheater. That could well have been a boundary if it had gone a yard either side. So another Gregory over comes to an end. 49 for 6, 15 Wheater, 7 Rossington. And these 2 wicketkeepers just trying to coax Essex through to that target. They've put on 21 between them, which must be the highest partnership of the innings. Not much competition for it.
Critchley and Westley maybe put on 23.
Oh, beg their pardon.
But yeah, there's partnerships have not flourished in this game. It's going to be Siddle to continue at the Marcus Trescothick Pavilion end into his 8th over. He's got 2 for 12. Twice in the game he's dismissed Alistair Cook. If you're just joining us on the live stream, well, where have you been? For a start, what a morning Somerset have had. 5 wickets. At one point, Essex were 4 for 4, so this is a recovery of sorts. Still beats the outside edge there of Rossington. How many times? We'll probably say it a little bit more as well. 35 runs Essex require to claim victory here. Somerset need 4 wickets. Just see their replay again. Yeah, just a nod of the head from Rossington. As soon as it beat the bat, nods back at the bowler. He knows he was done by a good one, and will just be grateful that it was too good for him to get an outside edge on. Again, just draws the bat away late. Siddle leaves, head in hands, smiles in that slip cordon. They know that was close.
Yeah, and also that he drew the bat away after the fact, that he played and missed at it. Yeah, the drama this morning, it was 2 for 1 overnight. It was then 4 for 2, 4 for 3, 4 for 4. We couldn't really believe what we were watching. Then 27 for 5, 28 for 6, now 49 for 6.
Pushed out towards point for no run. Rossington's still there. He's got 7, just a second game of his Essex career. He's on loan until the end of the season now. His Northant's contract is up at the end of this season as well. So, well, never say never, but it was quite a swift exit. I think Peter Trigo described it as a Room 101 exit from Northants for Adam Rossington. With a week before the season, he was still skipper. I'm looking forward to captaining them in Division 1. Oh, again, Siddle beats the outside edge. Rossington pushes forward at that, and it flies through to Steve Davies. This is lovely stuff.
3 times this over.
3 in the last 4 balls, hasn't it been? He's still there. The partnership is 21 between Adam Rossington and Adam Wheater, which has Essex 49 for 6, needing just 84 required in total for victory. And Siddle joins those dots. So maiden over from Peter Siddle, which means that the situation is as it was. Essex do require 35 runs to win, and Somerset require 4 wickets.
Now, will Lewis Gregory continue? Yes, he will for the time being. Sweater already off, and cap. So Craig Overton's rest extended, well-deserved rest too. 8 overs in his spell this morning. 4 for 15. His figures from 9 in all. And that's to add to the 7 he took in the first innings. Career best match figures for Craig Overton. They're keeping the pressure on beautifully, this Somerset attack.
I should know this really, so forgive me for not. Having been off the field, Craig Overton, there certainly used to be a rule about that you basically can't go off the pitch and come back on and bowl straight away. You'd have to be back on for as long as you were off.
Which wasn't particularly long. I don't know exactly what the figure is, but I would think 3 overs maybe 4. It can't be long before he's eligible. And actually it's no harm, is it really? They're not that far into their spells, the 2 bowlers who are on at the moment.
No, I think they probably managed it. Was this Gregory's 7th, so maybe the last one for him?
Possibly. Or maybe one more.
Then half an hour before lunch, so 3, maybe 4 from Craig, a 40-minute with his feet up, and then back out again if required. But
yeah, he's rung the changes well, Tom Abel. Down to 3rd man again. That was intentional that time, not outside edge. And Peter Siddle is there to cut off the boundary. Just the one for Adam Wheater. And the 50's up for Essex. 34 more needed. Still these 4 wickets that Somerset are chasing. Oh, that's a nice shot. Flipped off his toes. He's going to get a 4 for this. It's crossing the rope just in front of the river stand. 4 priceless runs for Adam Rossington. He's into double figures as well now. 54 for 6. 30 more needed.
Just a bit overpitched that, wasn't it, from Gregory? Maybe looking for the LBW. He'd watched Peter Siddle give him a bit of a working over in the previous over.
Craig Overton is loosening up. He's probably pretty loose already. Oh, playing the miss. That wasn't a good shot. Excellent, the previous delivery, but that was a waft.
Yeah, we've seen a few of those from Rossington. Not someone who's perhaps used to having to rein it in and bat long periods of time. Perhaps that's a bit unfair, but I'm pretty sure his maiden first-class 100 might have been against students, but there were something ridiculous like 5 sixes in an over or something like that. But yeah, he scores runs quickly. 5 consecutive 6s, yeah, he scored.
Oh, a beauty again from Gregory. Rossington beaten all ends up there. That wasn't a poor shot by the batter, it was just a brilliant delivery. 54 for 6. The tension continues. Wheater 16, Rossington 11. 30 more needed. Oh dear.
It's the swings, isn't it? When we came back on, you think it's just taking those wickets.
Well,
and Somerset,
you and I took 3 first thing, didn't we, in our first session? And then Mercer's, Trigo and Caddick took 3. It's time we struck, Sam.
2 in the over just before we came on, but since then, Rossington and Wheater, they put on 26. Not been flawless, a lot of playing missing, but they are crucially still there, and I do wonder if we might see Craig Overton at the river end the next over, but for now it's Peter Siddle rolling to Adam Wheater.
Yeah, if you're going to bring him back, you might as well bring him back quickly. It's not got much longer to run, this game.
Yeah, I think you have to. Yeah. He's bowled so well, taken so many wickets. Well, he's already got his best in an innings, best in a match.
Yeah, and he's not the bowler the batsman will want in the kind of form he's shown in this game.
Slashed away. That man is down there at third man, Lewis Gregory, so it's been vital to have a third man in. Wheater just picks up a single, 4 for 15 off 9 overs. Overton has to go with 7 for 57, and he has that. Perhaps the other two might not have. Is the short ball is an option again. The batters will know that he's got that fairly vicious and well directed bouncer, which he might bring out. Washington pushes to mid on for no run.
What a brilliant decision on the third man front. Must have saved 20 odd runs, maybe more.
Let's have a quick. Wheater's had 4 singles down there. Pushes on the back foot, Rossington. Doesn't mean to get down to the leg side, but that is where it's ended up.
Yeah, he was looking to hit it straighter. Dipped in to him a fraction.
The number of runs off Gregory, number of singles, 5 or 6 of them down to third man. So if there's no third man in, all of a sudden that's an extra 20 runs. Game over. Shorter, oh, it's a wider, shorter one that Rossington was trying to cut. Well, more push off the back foot, really. Got an inside edge, could have gone anywhere. So Peter Siddle wouldn't have minded picking up the wicket. It's far from the best ball he's bowled at Rossington.
Could have chopped on easily.
He had no control over that whatsoever, but he's still there. Rossington moves on to 12. Wheater 17, and Somerset now really need to break this partnership quickly. You'd have Essex back as favourites from here. 28 required, we're 4 wickets in, but it's fine margins. The game swings. I'd like to see is it WinViz they do? I would like to have seen that at the start.
Wasp for a while.
At 1 minute to 11 this morning. Straighter from Siddle. Wheater keeps that one out.
Starting on the leg stump, moved away a fraction.
Here is that over. End of the over, 56 for 6. Craig Overton's cap is off, and look at that. That's an analysis of his length. So you can see there's 4 or 5 well-directed short balls in the innings, and that's the point of difference that Overton offers. So they can't just push forward. They have been pushing forward and playing and missing a fair bit, but with Overton, there's going to be that element of doubt in their mind. And well, here he is. It had to be, really, didn't it, Stephen?
Mm. Yep. It's he had a 1 over spell yesterday evening, but otherwise it's his second spell of the innings. Overall figures 4 for 15. And starts with a dot ball. It's played to backward point. Yeah, that 4 for 15, as we were saying. Following his 7 for 57 in the first innings. This is a game he'll remember for the rest of his life, especially if Somerset win it. He can add to that tally and and see Somerset home. What a thing it would be. On the money. Moving away from Adam Rossington.
Just having a quick look. And the live stream again, and still more than 4,000. The guys and girls from the County Cricket Podcast, they do a wonderful job, and they've just, some of their interviews are fantastic. They're really in detail, but they've just put, here we go. This is what county cricket is all about. Welcome to all of you.
A drive down to third man. It's not where he intended. Looking to play it squarer. And again, the value of that fielding position is exemplified. Peter Siddle down there at the moment. Having not taken a wicket, I think it's time to bring back our lucky charm.
I was going to say, Somerset in need of a wicket. Justin Langer would so often turn to this man to take a wicket. So I think we should do the same and bring back. When he's finished eating? Yeah, he just about finished eating. So Peter Trigo is going to return to bring you through until lunch.
I'll make way at the end of the over. Appeal for LBW out! Number 7's gone! 57 for 7, Essex. And we didn't need Peter Trigo to sit down.
I expected it was going to take a while, but not as soon as I put the headphones on. Hey, I'm going to end up having to do so many hours in this commentary box at this rate, Stephen. What about that? Craig Overton's 12th wicket in the last 2 days. It's been an absolute joy sitting behind the bowler's arm watching the man. He looks visibly tired, but he's still putting in an amazing shift for the team.
Well, terrific, and absolutely right to bring him back. He went off for a few running repairs, but was quickly back on, and a well-earned small break, and he knows that this game is going to finish very soon. We all do.
Yeah, I think it looks like the captain has had a conversation with his 3 nasty fasties. Are you up for it, boys? They've obviously said yes, and they're just going to rotate to the conclusion of this game either way, I think. And you know, they're brave. They're putting their bodies on the line for the team. Exactly what you want to see. You know, I said a lot yesterday that the one thing you won't question out of a Somerset team is their effort levels, their endeavour to try and get a win. It hasn't gone right with the bat, but it's certainly going very much right with the ball.
Yeah, absolutely tremendous. And good to the way Siddle bowled a short spell up at the river end and then back on at this one. Tom Abels manipulated that attack of 3 very nicely.
Yeah, he certainly has. Great leader and a great negotiator. He's obviously talked them into a heavy workload because obviously the one carrot that is dangling in front of all these cricketers out here is a potential Easter Sunday off where they can fill their boots with their Easter eggs and whatever else they might want to enjoy. But what an effort here from the Somerset bowlers, in particular Craig Overton, as I said. 5 wickets to go with his 7 yesterday, 12 wickets in the match, and you know, very much like our guest a few minutes ago, Andy Caddick.
Here's Simon Harmer's first ball. He's possibly the only batsman who hasn't been dismissed in the match so far. Made 25 not out in the first innings, and he's a cool customer.
Yeah, cool and awkward. He will play some shots. He likes to try and pull off length, get the bowler off his line, so Craigo will be tested, but the experience he's gained now over his first-class career and international career, he'll be ready for that challenge, no doubt. Unbelievable figures, 5 for 16, following up his 7 for how many, Stephen?
I'll tell you in half a second as he comes in again. It's going to be a dot. Yeah, 7 for 57 in the first innings.
Well-deserved round of applause from the Cooper Associates County Ground faithful here who have made the journey. It might have looked like a day to not travel to the county ground, but those who have made it, what a day.
And a lot of those who haven't are watching it by this method on the stream.
And very lucky they are too soon. Obviously a great service supported by WPA.
Yeah, the numbers have been going up all morning, in fact. So, and you can easily tell why.
It certainly has. The Twitter alerts, the ECB app alerts have been going off on the phone, and plenty of people tuning in, listening to us, Stephen. Puts us under a bit of pressure, as the Essex batters are.
That's a nice
Adam
stroke.
Rossington back foot drives through the covers, hot in pursuit. Tom Abel and Tom Lammonby reeled in beautifully for 3 runs. 60 for 7, 24 runs, 3 wickets in the shed. It's anyone's game. You probably slightly favour Somerset, but a Simon Harmer onslaught for a couple of overs could change things. It is very much in the balance here. Very exciting stuff.
Yeah, I think that wicket has tipped it. It was tipping towards Essex, but that wicket has tipped it back again.
Yeah, you're into the lap of the gods a little bit. Simon Harmer dangerous, but then you've got the bowlers that, you know, there aren't any. I think Charles Willoughby was the last number 11, and that is very straight, and that is out. Simon Harmer, LBW, Peter Siddle. What a great line bowler he is. He hasn't missed a trick all game. Just nips back. Simon Harmer has lunged forward, and it's wrapped him under the knee roll. Absolutely stone dead. Russell Warren gives him the Sir Alan Sugar, you're fired.
He didn't look too happy with it, Simon Harmer, did he? He stood there for a moment, but just looking at it on the replay, it looked like Midland leg to me.
That's more shock and disappointment, I would have said, Stephen. Nobody, you know, obviously batsmen, they're never out, LBW, but that certainly was plumb. The only thing that could have saved him would have been an inside edge, but it didn't really look like he got anything on that. Great piece of bowling again, a little bit of movement from that tight off-stump line that Pete Siddle has bowled so fantastically well since he's landed here in the UK, and he's now getting his rewards. 3 for 17 to follow up Craig Overton's 5 for 16. And now we are into the bowlers. As I said, there aren't many true number 11s in professional cricket anymore, but obviously Snater in particular has done a lot of bowling, so there's a bit of fatigue in those legs. Hopefully there's a little bit of sleep in the eyes as well, and Somerset can mop up these last 2 wickets before these 24 runs are scored.
Yeah, he's number 10 for Essex. Mark Steckerty is the one remaining batsman to come in after these 2. So 60 for 8. That equation again. 24 more needed by Essex, and Somerset now need just 2 wickets for what would be a truly remarkable championship win if they can get there, having been bowled out for 109 in their first innings. Essex.
Yeah, and the talk wouldn't be about the batting woes, would it? It would be about the phenomenal bowling performance. This could do a lot for the morale of the Somerset dressing room and the club as a whole. As Pete Siddle bowls an immaculate line again, well left by Snater.
Just have another look at that LBW, which did for Simon Harmer.
Yeah, you thrust the front shin at Peter Siddle at your peril. That was crashing into middle stump.
Yeah,
I don't think there was.
I said Midland leg first time. I'm not so sure now.
I think that was very generous of you. Siddle runs in again, and they sneak a leg by. Every run is absolutely crucial at this stage. Down to 23 now with 2 wickets left in the shed.
Yeah, and also Snater gets himself off strike, so a couple of deliveries for Adam Rossington to face. He's on 16 not out.
I'm actually surprised that deep square leg has gone out. It was Goldsworthy drifting out to the boundary. I'd think that they would gamble on these 2 balls being dots, so you can have a full over at Snater.
In fact,
as Peter Siddle
and 4 of them, it's been driven up to the long on boundary, crossing the rope right underneath us in the Marcus Trescothick Pavilion.
Siddle visibly upset with himself there. He knows he's just over pitched. Very unlike Peter Siddle. It's probably the one bad ball he's bowled in the whole game so far. So we'll let him off. I'm sure he'll come back strong. 19 to win.
And that is coming back strong.
And how that has not hit the stumps is beyond me. That is a lick of blue paint away from Somerset's 9th wicket.
Here's the wicket in slow-mo.
pitched on off stump, just outside off stump, nip back, hit him in front of middle and off, clattering into the top half of middle stump would be my guess, Stephen.
Great view of Siddle's reaction as well. The appeal and then the right arm pumping the air in celebration.
Flexing those biceps. He's a strong lad, is Peter Siddle, and he's showing it today with 10 overs under his belt already, 3 for 21. As Craig Overton runs into bowl.
Appeal for LBW didn't carry quite the conviction of some of its predecessors. Snater survives. Craig Overton will be glad to have the opportunity to bowl at Snater rather than Rossington.
Yeah, we're certainly on the cusp of something quite special here today, Stephen. It's been a joy to commentate on. I was downstairs, watching outside for the first few wickets. I mean, what a start to the day, and it's just continued.
Single here, down to long leg.
Ben Green sporting a very snazzy Australian-esque Cam Smith, for those golf fans, style haircut, the shaved up the sides Mohican style that seems to be popular with the youngsters.
Yes, great to see it in its entirety when he bowled a few overs in this game.
He's quite keen on the occasional little moustache as well, Ben Green. Very stylish young man. As Craig Overton charges into bowl at Adam Rossington. What a wicket this would be.
Cut, and it's going away for 4. So Rossington got well on top of that, just behind square on the offside. Backward point boundary. Rossington to 24.
Capitalised on a slightly over-pitched ball from Pete Siddle, and again one of the very rare wide deliveries from Craig Overton. He's punished that away. He's on to 24, and it's getting to that stage here at Taunton. 14 runs required, 2 wickets left.
Down to 13 with this sharply taken single, which leaves Snater with 2 deliveries to survive from Craig Overton.
Yeah, I really want to see mid-on and mid-off incredibly close here. Every run's going to be crucial. No singles away, even though I'm sure Snater's just trying to survive these 2. Well bowled.
Attempted pull. No contact with it at all.
Not really what you want to see. Your number 10 having a swish at a short ball from one of England's finest bowlers, but he got away with that one. It could have easily been a little edge through to Steve Davies, but he survives, and again 13 to win, 2 wickets left.
Kind of a few Essex hearts in mouths on the balcony of the Andy Caddick Pavilion for a moment then.
A few double teapots from the coaches, no doubt.
Up in the air, it's going to fall safe. A backward point.
I think a decision's been made here by the Essex batsman to try and get these runs as quick. That is a wild hack from Snater there. Very fortunate to get 2 runs for that and not lose his wicket. As Craig Overton's over finishes, and Pete Siddle strides to the top of his mark, having a chat with Captain Tom Abel, probably looking how to still look to strike but contain runs. It looks like Tom Abel's there has just mimicked putting a deep point out and a deep square leg to try and cut off the boundary options, as well as keeping the 3 catches, which is obviously all important. Even though it's not been it's been a very LBW sort of bold wicket, but a couple of snares at the 3rd slip as well, so pretty important to keep him in.
Adam Rossington is on strike, and he's going to take a single, which will possibly suit Somerset and Peter Siddle, because it puts the number 10 onto strike early in the over. 10 more needed by Essex.
All I'm going to say, Stephen, I don't want to keep harping on, but the intensity of the batting in the since that 8th wicket has changed. 14 runs, a few wild shots, but they've got away with a few, but they've visibly looked like they were trying to attack.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, 14 runs in no time. And that hasn't happened at any stage in the game. It's been amazing for me how the decision's been made by every batsman just to stay and try and survive on this pitch. It hasn't made any sense to me. It's been really surprising. But it's interesting. Your number 10 comes out, a few swishes, a few swipes, and all of a sudden 14 runs on the board in no time.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the way you might have played.
Well, like I've never had the technique to survive. It was all about counter-attacking for me. So, you know, you have to be calculated, but you've got to put a bowler under pressure.
Another drive, but another dot ball. Up to mid-on.
We're two shots away and 2 wickets away, aren't we?
We are.
Which way will it go? It's, you know, driving in this morning from sunny Weston-super-Mare, celebrated with my good friend at his wedding. Congratulations to Chris Davidson and Roxy on getting married yesterday. Driving in this morning, a little bit tired, thinking what is in store for today. I had no idea this was going to be the morning's cricket we'd be enjoying.
Up in the air, but it's
snake
going
to
to
slog.
fall safe again. Down to third man. They're going to get a single for that. Oh dear, oh dear. Sam Dalling's due to come back in for me.
Again, Snater taking a chance, having a bit of a slog and getting away with it. Just a little bit of luck, but applying a bit of pressure to the Somerset attack, because we're now into single figures, and you probably say that, you know, it's just swung back into that little 15-16 run partnership has all of a sudden swung it back in Essex's favour, and it's just because the batters have done something different for the first time in these 2 and a bit days.
Down the leg side. Rarely offline, Peter Siddle. Just a little bit on that occasion, but no damage. Taken comfortably by Stephen Davies. Been immaculate as ever behind the stumps this morning.
Yeah, I think even the most optimistic Somerset fan wouldn't have dreamt to be in this position come 5-1, but we're here, we're enjoying it, we're loving the action.
There's going to be runs here. That's nicely played. Cultivated off drive. We'll bring him a couple to conclude the over. I'm going to have to vacate my seat. I'm not going to go far, I tell you. But
We had a good little haul there, didn't we, Stephen? We brought the wickets back in. Unfortunately, the runs are starting to flow. But it's certainly exciting stuff as I sit here and
see whether Sam Dalling can administer the coup de grace with your help, Peter.
It's been quite a morning, as I keep saying. Craig Overton, 13 wickets under his belt so far. Sorry, 12 wickets under his belt today. Can he get 13 and 14 and make it a really, really incredible, almost record-breaking bowling performance here? We knew it was going to take something extraordinary. I think Craig himself even said it's going to take something extraordinary. I think he described it as the perfect day was required, and we're not far off it, are we, Sam?
Not far. Tie still possible as well. What have you got to go? Full and straight here? Got to try and hit the stumps.
I think, yeah, that just do the same things as you've been doing all game, and that's just about the perfect delivery there. Back of a length, rising up, nearly taking a glove through to Steve Davies. I mean, he's bowled exceptionally well. Is there one more piece of magic, 2 more pieces of magic in the Overton arm for us to enjoy? Or is it going to be Essex's day? 7 to win, 2 wickets required. And I think the Essex batters are not going to die wondering here.
You've been calling for it for the last couple of days, haven't you? Just a little bit of extra oomph, a bit of intensity. And Rossington, what's he got, 28 now? If he sees this home, it might be the most valuable 28-30 he's ever scored.
Yeah, I think you know, the switch to the M1. I think the Essex fans will see the quality that they've signed. He's a very talented batsman, very difficult to bowl at, and he's putting in a great performance. But that could all be changed with a couple of bits of magic from Craig Overton as he comes running in, and Snater's had a go at him, and he's belted it back over Craig O's head. certainly made the decision that a few shots are going to be played. I think these two have finally, after 38 wickets, a couple of batters have got together and said, how about we try attacking?
21 off 19 balls, and in the context of this game, that's massive, isn't it?
Yeah, it's game changing at the moment. I'm just amazed it's taken so long. As that squirted down to fine leg. 2 runs required, 2 wickets. It's going to take something extraordinary. We've had an extraordinary morning, but I think we need to double down on the extraordinariness and try and get us this this win. It's looking more and more unlikely.
6,000. Look, I'm having a quick look at the stream. 6,000 people watching this, Pete.
Well, I'd like to say it was down to the 3 of ours commentary and our fabulous guest Andy Caddick, but I'm pretty sure it's down to the fact that we are witnessing an extraordinary day of county championship cricket.
It's the highest they've ever had concurrently on the stream. County championship cricket is dead, though.
Yeah, well, we all know that's nonsense. Anyone who's made it to the ground today is having a wonderful time watching a fantastic end to a game, as Essex require 1 more to win. Either way, though, I think there's been some pride, there's momentum to take on for the rest of the season for the Somerset team. There's obviously going to have to be some tough conversations to be had about the way the batters are going about their business at the moment, but what a performance as a collective. The batters that are struggling at the moment have supported the bowlers in the field. You can sense the noise and the support from up here. They really have battled hard, and hopefully there can be a little bit more magic. A twist in the tail, as they say.
The tie is still on. The tie is still on. 83 for 8 Essex. Scores are level.
Yeah, it has been great. Like I said, it's salvaged some pride from what was a poor performance, but I think it's really easy to focus in on Somerset's batting performance. But again, you've got to look at it. 2 quality sides. There hasn't been a batting performance here. It's all been dominated by the bowler. So I think, let's be fair. Let's give credit where it's due. Where it's due. It's been a phenomenal bowling performance by both sets of bowlers this week.
Essex a brilliant side. Everyone up in the ring, as you would expect here. Siddle to Rossington, who's going to keep us waiting a little bit longer. Just pushes it out to point. Lewis Gregory does the fielding. Big smile on his face. Yeah, I mean, Essex are a fine side. They, like Somerset, never know quite when they're beaten. 4 for 4 they were this morning.
Yeah, it's been a topsy-turvy day. All Somerset, and then this little partnership, towards the end. Was it Critchley Wesley? I think there was a bit of battling there, but obviously this partnership here has yielded a very quick 23 runs, which has changed the complexion of the game, because 23 runs ago you think it was almost certain the Somerset were going to win. A bit of endeavour, a little bit of bravery has just changed it back into Essex's favour, and they are 1 run away from pulling off what they would feel would be quite a memorable win now, even though they were only chasing 84.
It'd be huge for their momentum this season. It's swell. We were saying, Stephen and I, if there was a wind viz or whatever it is, it would have moved back and forward this morning a little bit.
The wasp would have been buzzing everywhere. As Siddle comes in, trying to find that last little bit of magic, that little bit of energy from the overseas superstar. The tie certainly is on. A Siddle wicket here, then an Overton, bit of magic. You never know, but it's looking a little bit unlikely at this stage, as Adam Rossington has played an absolute gem for his new county.
Yeah, it is. What a signing he's going to be. What a performance. I mean, they will celebrate this victory. It's been a fine performance. Sam Cook outstanding with the ball. Shane Snater. Siddle keeps us waiting again. Adam Rossington, 29 unbeaten.
He's a very highly skilled cricketer, Adam Rossington. He doesn't have the archetypal professional sportsman shape. He's certainly a little bit on the solid side of life, but he's such a talented cricketer. He's got great hands, great hand-eye coordination, and there's certainly a place in cricket for people with that much talent. And like I said, he's the difference at the moment in this fascinating third day.
Score still tied as Rossington, he pulls his bat away, but as Stephen said earlier, after the event. And he fits the fact that he can come here and get into this Essex side, which is so strong. County champions in 19, Bob Willis Trophy winners in 20. You look at it, Nick Brown is one of the finer run scorers in county cricket not to have played for England. Cook, Wesley, Lawrence, Critchley. Rossington just slips in there nicely at 6. That's a strong, strong Essex side.
Yeah, there's a level of experience there from Adam Rossington, though, and he's batting very much in a Ryan Tenduscarter sort of mode. He's being aggressive and...
Played a miss again,
Peter
so we go
Siddle.
another over. Peter Siddle
Peter
bowls a
Siddle
maiden.
has been so unlucky in this game. He's challenged the batter every ball he's bowled. The play and miss count must be extraordinary. Just keeping everyone on the edge of their seats. I hope everyone at home is enjoying the live stream. I can assure you the Somerset crowd that I've managed here are pinned to the boundary boards almost. It feels like everyone is leaning forward at the moment. I'm leaning forward at the moment, just staring and hoping that Craig Overton or Peter Siddle can grab one more little bit of magic here to get us even more elated, even more than we are today. Like I said, I was driving down the M5 today, kind of hoping something magic would happen, but the realist in me thought no chance. But what a day's play, what a morning's play we've had, and certainly worth the entry fee, even though it was FOC, I believe, today.
It was indeed.
What a great gesture from the club.
If
Well
there's
done, Gordon.
If there's one man capable of a moment of magic, it's Craig Overton. But Shane Snater, he's had a superb game as well. 6 wickets in that second inning, so it'd be fitting if he can score the winning runs, which he'll be trying to do.
He's gone for it. It's been parried at mid-on by Lewis Gregory. He's done a great job there. Mopped up by Lewis Goldsworthy. Everyone's hunting that single. I can remember being in last with the last man against Warwickshire, Jeetan Patel bowling on a turning wicket, needing one to win. Oh my days, it was, well, the knees were knocking. As Snater goes for an enormous hack to try and win the game in style. But like I said, that's the reason why the game is so close. You know, Snater's played a few shots, he's got himself to 9. Rossington's played a few aggressive shots, got himself to 29. And they're on the cusp of what would be an extraordinary win, even though they were only chasing 84. And it's straight up in the air. That's going to be a wicket. Lammerby under it, taken the catch.
Oh, he's doing another twist.
Craig Overton has taken his 13th wicket, of the match. What a performance from Craigo.
Now, here is where a new regulation might just help Somerset. So they would have crossed there. So Adam Rossington, in previous years gone by, he would have been on strike now. But the regulation is now the new batter is always
Back
on
up the
strike.
other end, Chief.
Exactly.
Off you go.
He knew.
Is he going to stay down there? Is he going to hope that the umpires don't spot it? Is he going to try and con himself a little extra run here and stay down that end? It'd be interesting to see how that plays out.
I think he did run, and then he got to the other end, and I think he realised it was due to come in a bit later in the summer, and the ECB brought it forward. So that does mean that Mark Steckety is going to be on strike.
Craig Overton, 7 for, and now sitting on 6 for 30. It's been a monumental bowling performance, and I have to say that it would almost be fitting and deserved if this game finished in a tie, because I don't think either team deserves to win.
When was the last tie? You were involved in a tie, weren't you, against the West Indies, or was that a win?
Yeah, no, we tied against the West Indies years ago.
When 2003?
I scored my first class 100.
Okay.
Graham Rose was out. I think he got out to Chris Gale, playing the most peculiar shot. But yeah, that was a great day. Come on, Craigo, one more wicket. As it's been scooped towards square leg. One hand, one bounce. For all those watching that have played changing room cricket, that would have been a dismissal. Like I said, the knees will be knocking. He would have been sat up in that dressing room, no doubt, bat in hand, tapping it on the floor. Some sort of nervous twitch would have been going on without doubt. And now he's out there in the middle trying to somehow scrape one solitary run to win this game. But Craig O sitting on 6 for. Could he make it 2 sevens to match the shirt number on his back? Wouldn't that be something? Number 7 gets 7 and 7.
Written in the stars, Peter. Yeah.
And I've got a tattoo of a number 7 on my arm as well. So there's a lot of sevens going on. Lucky number 7.
It says on your arm.
I think 4 sevens, that would be £100 on a fruit machine, wouldn't it? Come on, Craigo. Spin that dice, my friend. One more wicket. Hit the stumps.
Oh, direct hit would have been close.
And almost fitting, the game has been finished with 5 leg byes.
What a finish that was. Congratulations to Essex. Craig Overton is down on the floor. He is distraught. He's had a wonderful game, but it's not been quite enough. Essex have snuck over the line by 1 wicket. What a morning we've had.
Well, for once, Sam, Stephen, I'm speechless. I mean, to finish with 5 leg byes, I think if he would have hit direct hit, the run out was certainly going to be incredibly tight, but it's flown past the stumps, flown past Jack Leach to the boundary for 5 leg byes. What a bizarre way to finish a quite extraordinary 2 and a little bit days play. Essex get over the line, 84 for 9.
Brilliant, what a morning. Adam Rossington, credit to him, 29 unbeaten in just his 2nd game for Essex. He really was the difference this morning, and that was clever there. I know putting pressure on the field, I knew he had to come around, didn't want to bank on Steckety having to face another ball of Craig Overton, and scrambled through. So it really did come down to that, Stephen, didn't it? A direct hit and the game might have been tied.
Craig Overton, 12 from 5 overs, 2 maidens, 6 for 30, and overall match figures of 13 for 87. Congratulations to Craig Overton for all of that.
What a game of cricket we've had. 2 days and 1 session in Somerset and Essex. We've had some real battles over the last few years, met in the Bob Willis Trophy final, met here on the final day of the 2019 season, where it could have gone either way, and they've met here again this morning. Somerset 109 and 154 plays 180 and 84 for 9. Very much a game for the bowlers, just a couple of half centuries. Sir Alistair Cook in the Essex first innings making 59 unbeaten. Stephen Davies in the Somerset 2nd innings making 51. Craig Overton 6 for 30. 1 wicket last night, 5 this morning. To go with 7 for 57 in the first innings, so he has 10 for in a game for the first time in his career. But I suspect he would rather have won the game, given up those wickets. But hey, he is a big part of the reason Somerset were there and thereabouts. But one for the bowlers, Pete Trigo.
Yeah, certainly. You look at the figures. You know, Shane Snater, 6 for 36 in the 2nd innings. Great, solid performances from Sam Cook and Sneckedy in both of the innings. But the standout performer in the game is obviously Craig Overton. Unfortunately on the losing side, but 13 for 87, flying to the top of the county championship bowling records, and rightly so. He's put in an unbelievable shift, backed up beautifully by a very unlucky, you must say, Peter Siddle, Lewis Gregory as well. I suppose it's going to be an afternoon of pats on back for staying in the fight, but a bit of reflection on the batting performance, which is obviously cost Somerset dearly in the first innings. It's been completely dominated by ball. There's no doubt about that. Both teams, both excellent on paper batting lineups have struggled on this surface, but I think you know, you can't always criticise. Sometimes you've got to praise, and the bowling performance from both sets of bowlers. You know, we're behind the bowler's arm, and you know, Scott, the groundsman's out there now sweeping up, and it looks like that 7-yard top of off-stump length that Andy Caddick was talking about has been absolutely battered and worn out over the last couple of days. So, well done both sets of bowlers, and congratulations to Essex on a quite extraordinary county championship win here at the Cooper Associates County Ground.
Somerset can certainly draw some positives, coming so close to winning after being pulled out for 109 in their first innings.
Yeah, I hope that there are positives taken, because there should be, rightly so. But I hope there are some you know, tough conversations and reflection on where the team need to improve going forward into the next game, because the next game is going to be absolutely vital for the context of the 2022 season.
Yeah, and that next game for Somerset is at the Oval. Starts on Thursday, so a couple of days off. I think the players will need a few hours just to let the adrenaline go out of them, and I know I'm going to need it. That was a tense morning, and Simon Harmer, usually so good with the ball, and well, in a game of such fine margins, you can look back on 10, 15 moments and think the difference, but his little 25 not out, that last wicket partnership in Essex's first innings, could well have proved the difference. I was just trying to find it, and I've lost the number. There we go. 24 it was they put on for the 9th, 10th wicket with Steckerty. That was probably crucial, wasn't it?
Yeah, when a game's won by 1 wicket, there's going to be a couple of moments. I mean, if we would have taken that final wicket 5 runs ago, you'd be praising Tom Lammonby's fantastic 48 and Steve Davies' 51 in the second innings. So it's really hard to really pinpoint too many moments. But I think, you know, moving forward, the team need to, I think, take the positives and the belief that a performance like that can give you. If you can nearly defend 84, a little 10-20% increase in, you know, performance from the batting lineup puts you into position to win most games with a bowling lineup of that quality. And don't forget Jack Brooks, Josh Davey in particular, you know, not featuring today. They'll be massive throughout the season. So Somerset have got to take a lot of positives from what happened today. But like I said, I think it'd be a good time to reflect as a batting unit in particular, get together, get some, not necessarily talk technically, but just get some trust in that dressing room. You know, believe in each other, because there's going to be some, without question, there are going to be some doubts in the back of the minds of the players. But, you know, we in the commentary box, the teammates, the fans, we all back you. We all want you to do well. Just go out and do your business in game 3.
George Bartlett was up here. He's not far away from fitness, batted in the 2, so he may well come into contention. Tom Banton made that 100 in pre-season, then really unlucky breaking his finger. Maybe a few more weeks for him, but he'll put some pressure on the side. Stephen, I think I know the answer to this. Man of the match for you?
Craigo, as Tractor would put it.
Yeah, without doubt, Craig Overton takes the honours. I don't think anyone would begrudge that. It's very unusual for a player on the losing side to quite obviously be the man of the match.
Yeah, I think you have 3 yeses, Craigo. You go through. Thank you very much to everyone. What a wonderful couple of days we've had here at the Cooper Associates County Ground. Congratulations to Essex for their victory, 1 wicket victory. Somerset will go again on Thursday. Thank you very much to WPA Health Insurance, the club's principal county championship live stream follower. Thank you to everyone who's been watching. More than 6,000 people watching at the end there. County championship is alive and well. Thank you very much, Stephen Lamb.
Absolute pleasure.
Peter Trigo, thank you so much. You're on the honours board as well, eh? You can talk about that one for the rest of the weekend.
It's been a joy. Happy to be on the honours board, but next time I sit in the seat, I want it to be a Somerset victory. So hopefully that will happen, and good luck to the lads who go off and play at the Oval in a week's time.
Yeah, you'll have no qualms from me about a Somerset victory. Stephen Lamb, Peter Trego, myself, Sam Dalling, thank you very much for listening. Thank you for joining in. Thank you for all your comments, and enjoy the rest of your bank holiday weekend.